If you're new to the printing world and you've heard the terms DTF and DTG and you had no clue what should be used for when, then this video is for you. And I'm going to be talking about the new upgraded version from Printful called DTFlex, which is the new premium version of DTF printing. By the end of this video, you'll know what DTG is, what DTF is, how DTF varies from DTFlex, and you'll also know what to use when, depending on what type of apparel you are going for. So before we jump into the new DTFlex, what is DTG? DTG stands for direct to garment printing. This means that the ink from the printer sprays directly onto the apparel. Because of this, the ink actually feels like it is part of the shirt and it is super soft to feel. If you run your hand over it, you're not going to feel a big difference between the fabric and where the print is. Here we have a sample of the DTG printed shirt, and I'm going to show you the differences between this and the DTFlex later in the video. And then as the other option, we have DTF, which stands for direct to film. How DTF works is it's actually printed first on a special sheet, coated with adhesive, and then it is actually heat transferred onto the garment. This allows for a lot more vibrant colors because you're not getting the back of the shirt or the color of the shirt interfering with your colors. It allows for crisper printing as well, but you are going to feel the difference of the shirt and the actual print because this is something that was printed separately and then heat pressed to your shirt or sweatshirt or whatever you're printing. This also allows for you to print on a lot more different type of apparel than just DTG. DTG can struggle sometimes when you have polyester or you have blends or you have really dark colored shirts and you want a very crisp color. That's where DTG can struggle, that DTF makes up for. And here I have the DTF version of this. You can see it has more of a shine to it, but again, don't worry, I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison so you can see all the differences. And now that you know the difference between DTG and DTF, let's talk about DTFlex, which is Printful's new gold standard version of printing that was recently introduced. Think of DTFlex as Printful's DTF 2.0. And what actually makes it different than DTF? Well, it has sharper imaging, clearer colors, longer durability. If you are familiar with DTF, a lot of people's concerns are with peeling of the print versus with DTFlex, we are guaranteed that this should last longer even when you're doing many washes with this print. Compared to regular DTF, it is going to be a lot less blurry and you're going to get a lot crisper of lines, and it has an upgraded feel to the actual finished product. Another common complaint DTF people have is that it does not look premium. It has a plasticky looking touch to it versus this actually turns out a whole lot better than the previous or the more standard DTF prints. But Printful has said that probably the biggest difference between DTF and DTFlex is the consistency. They engineered DTFlex to be a lot more consistent than regular DTF, which again was another common problem people faced when choosing DTF. So if color accuracy and color consistency is very important to your print-on-demand business, then DTFlex is an awesome option to go with. So let me show you a side-by-side comparison of these two shirts. We have this one here, which is the standard DTF printed and the standard DTF that you would regularly find from Printify or Printful when you're not doing embroidery. Taking the edges, I am seeing a little bit of blurring. We are seeing the colors are a bit more muted because they do take on the background color, and typically the color of the garment does come through and change the colors a little bit. Take in the detail, and then this one here is the DTFlex from Printful. Look how much sharper these details are. Take a look at the colors. The colors we can see here are a lot more vibrant and true to what I saw in screen compared to the DTF, and it does feel very premium. If you have a sample of DTF prints, you might also notice that when you fold things, you get lines in it. It seems a lot more likely to peel and break versus this DTFlex does have a much more premium feel to it. So this might have helped you learn a few things, but you might still be wondering, okay, When do I use DTG and when do I use DTFlex? Should I be using DTFlex moving forward? Well, let me explain who should be using what. Compared to the standard DTG printing that we are all used to from Printify and Printful previously, you should be using DTFlex when your designs have high color counts, very fine details, or intricate details, and you really need that color accuracy, or you need that crispness, aka when you want that razor sharp edges and when your color accuracy means the most to you. It's also great if you're printing on polyester or if you're printing on blended fabrics. DTG can fade out a little bit easier when you are using certain fabrics. So the DTG, given that it is printed on a film first and then pressed to that shirt, is going to have that factor of the fabric be a lot less important to how good your quality is. If durability is a major concern for your brand, then DTFlex is also the option to go because it was designed with durability in mind and consistency in mind. So something can be more accurate and survive a whole lot longer. While DTG is awesome, it can also have the ability to fade out over many washes. That's not to say that DTFlex was created to take over and replace DTG. DTG is still an awesome printing method. It has worked for years for my business. But again, if the color consistency and the richness and detail of your design is of high importance, then I would consider DTFlex. But if you have more of a photographic or you want that more soft look to it, then DTG is still an awesome option. Some people and in some niches would prefer a more photographic, more lived in type of feel, more vintage style of print, which is where DTG shines. So say you have a large full color design that is taking up a lot of the front of a shirt. Using DTG, it's going to feel a lot more integrated. It's going to feel a lot softer and again, part of the shirt. While if you're going to DTF or even the DTFlex, you're going to feel a little bit more of a rigid feel because this is a film heat pressed to the front of a shirt. So it's not going to be as integrated. It's not going to fold quite the same and it's going to have a different feel to it. And the great news is you don't have to pick one or the other. You can choose a different print depending on the type of design and the type of niche you are selling to. For your more vintage designs, go with DTG, or if perhaps your customer would like the more lived-in feel versus go to DTFlex. Again, if you have very intricate details, if you need a very crisp design, if you need the color consistency, so maybe you're printing something for a brand where the color is very important and they cannot handle any blurriness to their design, then DTFlex is the option to go. I'm sure I could show you a better side-by-side sample, but this is where we're at currently right now. We have the DTG right here, still has a shine to it, can crumple, can move. You can see that the colors are a little less vibrant than our side over here. You can also see the crispness of the design on this side is a lot more detailed. It's a lot more kind of crisp versus you're going to see some blurring where the ink is actually sprayed into the design here, which of course is going to cause a little bit of ink bleed. Neither print method is wrong, neither is correct. It just depends on what you're going for. Printful didn't create it as a replacement for DTG, but instead to be another option or printing method to add to your toolkit so that you can serve your customers better. So now you'll notice when you're using Printful, when you go to actually make a design, when you are going the printing option, you now see the two different options here for a lot of their products, not all of them yet, but we have the DTG printing, or you can go to the new DTFlex. Hope this helps you understand what this new option is now in Printful, and let me know what your thoughts are on it and if you've ordered any samples. And of course, if this video taught you anything, if you could please drop a like and subscribe, it would help me so much. Thank you guys, and I will see you next week.